This is All Access MMA.
My next guest picked up the biggest win of his career, getting his first UFC victory in highlight reel fashion, taking out Jesse Strader at UFC Vegas 48. It is Chad Anheliger back here on the program. Chad, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a pretty good weekend.
I'd say so too. Congrats on the win. Is it sunk in yet that you got the first UFC victory? We're a couple days removed now, and I see you're back at work.
Yeah, right back at it for sure. I like to stay busy. But I don't know, man, this whole sinking in thing is a hard thing to comprehend. I don't think it has. You usually need a couple days to kind of decompress after a whirlwind like that. You know, I'm obviously very happy with the win, but it hasn't really kind of kicked in yet what I did. I'm still kind of addressing it all and kind of picking it all apart, but it's all good. It's all good news.
What was the game plan heading into the fight, and do you feel like you executed it?
Yeah, I did okay. I really didn't love my fight. I kind of wish I fought a little bit different. Obviously, I'm really happy with the finish, but I wanted to put the more pressure on him, land more strikes, shut down his takedowns a bit more. But overall, it did go really similar to plan. I wasn't scared to get taken down by him, so I didn't mind planting my feet and throwing hard. I knew it might end up costing me a takedown or two. Same thing with looking for my guillotines. I know sometimes that puts me on my back, but I knew I could get up pretty easily. So, you know, I wasn't beating myself up for getting taken down. I knew that might happen, and it tires him out by doing that. And then eventually I knew I was going to end up getting him on the feet, you know, one way or the other. So it took a little bit longer than I wanted, and he was tough. He was game, and he was hitting hard too. But in the end, it did work out to plan.
Was there anything you didn't expect in the fight? Maybe something that surprised you at all about him as an opponent?
Yeah, he was kicking a lot. And then when he went southpaw, he was really landing his rear kick quite well. And he's actually pretty fast with it. So I got a bunch of lumps and bumps all over my body from it, actually. But yeah, that threw me off a little bit was his kicking game. I thought he'd be using a lot more hands. But, you know, nothing too crazy. But that was the only thing that kind of threw me off a bit.
So I think, you know, watching at home, I'm not sure how you were feeling in the fight. I think most people had it tied going into the third. Did you kind of feel the same way? And if so, was there a bit more urgency to get that finish and not leave it in the judges' scorecards? I know you don't like going to the judges, but still, I'm sure when you know how close the fight is, you definitely want to, you know, put a stamp on it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where that feeling comes from, where I wasn't super satisfied with my fight. I was feeling it even as the third round was going on in my head. I'm like, man, this is anybody's fight right now. I'm like, what am I doing? Let's get this. Because during the fight, you know, I landed a few shots on him, and he might not have been able to tell at home, but he was wobbled, and I saw it in his face and his eyes. That's in the first round and the second round. All of his shots were just, you know, kicking my leg and kicking my arms. They were all blocked. I was never in any danger. So I was kind of frustrated with myself, like, how am I even letting the fight get to this point? I'm better. I'm more dangerous than this guy. And then, yeah, he wanted to push the pressure too. He's an exciting fighter, and it kind of, you know, made me have to fight him hard and get the finish because the pressure was there, and I'm just so glad I did.
What's going through your head? Ref steps in, you finish the fight. Again, you've had a crazy career. They talked about it on the broadcast as well about, you know, just turning things around, and you're in the UFC at your age. What's going through your head at that moment?
Man, it was all just kind of like enjoying the moment. I wasn't trying to get too ahead of myself. I wasn't trying to worry about all these other call outs or what's next. So I didn't care about what was next. I cared about what was happening right now because, you know, when I envisioned my dream of fighting in the UFC, it's that interview in the cage. That's kind of what my mind kept going back to. So when it was happening, it was just, you know, I was looking up at myself on the screen, and I was really enjoying the moment. So yeah, I was pretty happy at that point.
I know you mentioned post-fight, camp didn't really go as planned. You know, you talked about some challenges. I was curious, was there ever a point you thought maybe this fight's not going to happen with some of the challenges you had in camp?
A really small portion, you know, a couple days when I was, you know, kind of at my lowest point. I had the conversation a little bit with my girlfriend, but, you know, I knew I was always going to end up fighting. I always do. And that's kind of what a fight camp does for you. You train for 12 weeks so that it covers, you know, a week here that didn't go well, a week here where you were injured or whatever. Because, you know, I was covered. I did all the work, and I knew that I did. It was just really a timing thing. It was really stressful for me because, you know, it's UFC debut, and I wanted to go well. And for things to kind of go the opposite way as far as training camp, it was pretty stressful. But, you know, my coach, my team, and my girlfriend are all super supportive and just kind of giving me the reminders that, look, man, you've been training not only for this camp for 12 weeks, but for, you know, 12 years, I've been training for this opportunity. So don't let a little cold, you know, take that away. So I'm glad I still, you know, kept it together to get it done.
How did you celebrate after the win?
Nothing crazy. You know, went back to the hotel and had some beers and ordered some food, and after that we went out for a beer or two on the town just to kind of relax. But it's not really my thing to go too crazy anyway. I just like to with my team and the guys that got me there. That's who I want to spend time with, not random people at bars. So it was nice to just relax and kind of let it soak in a little bit.
What's been the feedback? I don't know if you've spoken to your manager or whoever from the UFC. They must have been happy, especially you getting that finish in the fight. Have you heard anything about your performance from the UFC specifically?
No, nothing yet. Actually, it's kind of I almost feel like I'm in this weird purgatory waiting period thing where it's like I don't know what's going to be coming next. I would sure think that I held up my end of the bargain. I fought hard, got the big victory, so I'm assuming I got good things coming my way. I did talk to my manager right after the fight. He was obviously excited for me. But no, nothing as far as the future yet. But I mean, I feel like I fought well on the Contender Series and pulled off an upset win. So they got me a great fight with a exciting fighter. And I'm really hoping that trend continues. If they give me an exciting fighter, I'll give you an exciting fight every single time. So hopefully that's kind of how our relationship can continue.
What about the fans? A lot of Canadians really happy to see you get in the win column. There's not many Canadians in the UFC right now. So how was that? Just, I'm sure, reading through all the positive messages.
Yeah, it's been so nice, actually, because even after my Contender Series fight, I had a lot of people reaching out. But it was kind of, mix and match, should I be there? How people can be. But
yeah,
this fight has been literally 100% positive. Canada's really getting behind me. I really appreciate the love. And it's been such a positive feeling. Even, I even reached out to my opponent after and told him to keep his head up and, thanks for giving, we just did a great fight. Don't let anybody take that away from us. I mean, we had a great fight, and it's just a positive experience overall. Fight week was great. The fight was exciting. I got the finish I wanted. I just couldn't be happier.
Have you had a chance to go back and watch the fight yet? I don't know if you've had a chance to do that or not.
I did. It was kind of like quick. We kind of just pulled it up on the laptop while we were celebrating and having some beers, just to kind of, because we were talking about things that happened, and it was kind of almost like an argument. It's like, we don't remember what happened. My coaches and myself, like, wait, did he take you down? What happened here? So we kind of quickly looked at it, but not too in depth. I do know that I was a little disappointed in myself after the fight, but then when I watched it, I actually wasn't as disappointed as I felt, because I felt I wasn't pulling the trigger enough. But when I watched the fight, I still thought I fought pretty well.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is I felt, maybe I'm alone here, I felt the commentary was a little biased towards him. I don't know, did you listen to that at all? Like, I was just curious getting your take on it. I'm not one to really call out like commentators at all, but I did feel like there were some things that you were doing that they were missing, and they were sort of amplifying some of the things that he was doing. I'm not sure why either, but I don't know if you noticed that at all.
Yeah, there was actually a couple funny things, because even the stats on the fight, he was up on significant strikes, and I don't know what qualifies as significant, but when I touch somebody with my hands and they're wobbling weird after, I don't care how many inside leg kicks the guy throws. It was part of my plan to walk him down through the kicks and land powerful punches. And in my mind, it should have had a lot more value. And then even in the second round, I dropped him with the right hand and got on top, but they didn't count it as a knockdown. They didn't count it as a takedown. It's like, how did I end up on top then? I don't know. I just felt like there's a few things that were kind of leaning his way, and that's why I was kind of almost frustrated in the third round, because I knew we might be going to a decision, and my coach was telling me in between rounds, like, man, we need to win this fight if you want to win this fight. And I was kind of like, really? Because I feel like I'm putting him in danger all the time, and I never felt in danger. I never felt even stress in there. I never even felt the pain from any of these shots. So yeah, I don't know. It's all, I guess, what you show too. I mean, you see a guy kicking and throwing lots of shots, you think he's winning, I guess. So it's a bit of a learning experience more than anything, not an anger thing.
Yeah, no, understandable. When are you looking to get back in there? Sort of an ideal timeline for you to get back and have your next fight?
Man, it's so tough to decide, because it's like a catch-22. I really want to get back in there right away and ride the momentum, but it's also like, you do something great, you kind of want it to soak in a little bit too. So I'm kind of, I guess it really depends on the UFC and my management and what they come back with. I'm always down for a big opportunity. I'll always say yes to opportunities. So so I guess we'll see what they come back with. I think in the next couple of weeks I'll get a good idea of it. After the fight, I always feel like I want to break, but after a week or two goes by, I feel like I want to get back in there. So we'll see.
Any fun matchups that interest you in the division? Any opponents you're looking at, or do you just sort of leave that up to your coaches and your manager?
I haven't really spent that much time kind of thinking about what could be next, because there's, the UFC is still a pretty blank canvas to me. So, there's a ton of great fights. There's a ton of great fighters. I really like guys that just want to fight exciting, and you know, obviously I've matched up really well with a lot of strikers in the division, so that's kind of like my number one thing that I'm looking for is an exciting striking matchup. But man, there's just so many. I can't even think of a name that I would say no to be honest. It's just like they're all great. I kind of look at them just like great, 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 great. You know, I can't go wrong right now. I just want to get back in there.
Chad, congratulations on the win. Great highlight reel finish. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, thanks. It's just all about my team, Champions Creed, man. I can't say enough good things about them. We're finally starting to get a little bit of the recognition that that gym really deserves. We're still coming. We got more guys coming up that are going to be in the UFC. They're going to be making noise too. So Champions Creed really is going to be the next place to train for MMA in Canada. So that's it for me.